Welcome, Fantasy Sumo card players. Alright, this is the rules explanation for September 2021. And exciting that we've got 23 players now, the most that we've ever had in a Fantasy Sumo card game. Topped off with two new Yokozuna, Tony and Volker, newly promoted as of last tournament, so there will be some new explanations of rules here. And we've got 21 other players, followed by a couple new players, Mitchell, Brian, and Chuck Ferber. So welcome to you two for the September edition. You can see on our homepage here, this will be links to everything that you need to know. You can see our Banzuke here, everybody's rank as of September 2021. I'll scroll down here. You can see the basic video on how to play and score, and I'll update that link with this video once I get it finalized. And then you can see the scoring spreadsheet right there. So if you click on that, I'll walk you through what pops up and how to go ahead and score. Alright, so there's going to be three ways to score this tournament. There's Rijicho Scoring, and that's the daily scoring that everybody's familiar with on the back of your cards. There's the Rijicho Scoring, and that is the occasional scoring that I throw in there, and I'll show you that, but most players should be familiar with that. And then we're going to have a new way to score. It's called Yokozuna Scoring, and what I'll do is I'll explain how that works for everybody. With the two new Yokozuna, they're going to be competing against themselves, and I'll show you the fun ways that they are going to be competing against themselves. And then the other 21 players, they're going to be competing for the Yusho. The main difference between the Yokozuna and the other players is the Yokozuna get to choose their cards, although their cards are separate. They're not part of the actual game deck, so they're going to be competing again against themselves with cards they've chosen. And then the other 21 players, Ozeki through Judo, those are just randomized like I've normally done, and so you'll see those as you get them in the mail. They should be hopefully arriving soon if they haven't already for most of you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and explain how to score. So if you click on this link here, current spreadsheet, what it's going to do is pop up the actual scoring spreadsheet for September 2021, and you can see here along the bottom all the other previous tournaments. If you're curious, if you go all the way to the right here, so if you click this button, click on player ranks, we've captured all the player ranks throughout the years as well, and you can see September 2021 here. Well, let me put that in there, September 2021. So you can see now all the active players in green, and then retired players or players that are on hold right now in red. Okay, so back to September 21. If you click over here, you'll see the spreadsheet come up, and you'll see daily points here at the top, and you see day 1 through 15. And so I'll go ahead and walk you through each way to score on the daily points. So all the cards in the deck are divided into Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Everybody will get a Tier 1 player, or excuse me, Tier 1 Rikishi or card. Everybody will get a Tier 2 and a Tier 3. That way not everybody's getting all the Sanyaku ranks just by luck and no Jiro. So again, most folks will have at least one Maegashira. Some people have 2 Jiro. It just depends on the luck of the draw. So Tier 1 is cards 1 through 22, Tier 2 is 23 through 44, and then Tier 3 is 45 through 67. So let's go ahead and show you what a Tier 1 back looks like, and if everybody can see here, Yokozuna Hakuho. Right here are the daily points, or Rikishi Scoring. The first 3 on everybody's card, these will be if the Rikishi wins on that particular day. The first 2 pretty self-explanatory. You get 1 point if you win. If you if that Rikishi also wins by their favorite technique, in this case Yorikiri with Hakuho, you'll get an additional point. And then you'll see the scoring here. It's called East meets West, daily offense. And so you get 1 point per win against any Rikishi on the east side of the Banzuke. So anytime Hakuho fights wrestles a Rikishi on the east side of the Banzuke and wins, you get an additional point. And so you can see up here in the upper left hand corner, for example, in Volker's area, Volker would get 3 points if he met the criteria for all 3 of those. So you just enter the 3 there, and you can see that tallies here at the bottom. So everything automatically tallies as you enter the points. One thing that we've done just recently as well is if the Rikishi actually loses, there's an opportunity to get points. And so you can see here, it's called Higher Learning Defeat. That's a daily defense. So if Hakuho happens to lose on a particular day and his loss was against a college graduate, Hakuho would still earn 1 point. So it's an opportunity, even though your Rikishi might not be doing too well, to still continue to earn points. So for this one, how do you know if a Rikishi is a college graduate? Well, everything is done here on Sumo reference, and you can see the link at the top. You can just type in Sumo reference in any browser and it'll pop up. So if you click on any one of these Rikishi, you can tell if they're a college graduate. So let's say we'll click on Takayasu. You should see the college show up if they did go to college. You can see here Takayasu did not go to college, did not show up. But I will show you Endo. If you click on Endo, you can see he went to the university, and that shows up right under the height and weight. He went to Nihon University. And so that's how you can tell if any Rikishi went to college. So anyway, just hop around, look at Sumo reference, and you should be able to, as you pop up on or click on any Rikishi, tell if they're a college graduate or not. So that should take care of Tier 1 playing. And so everybody will have the same Tier 1 scoring. Some players, especially on this daily offense, it says on the west side of the Banzuke. I just alternated between card numbers. So some say east, some say west. So just make sure you pay close attention if it's east or west. Okay, let's go to Tier 2. So in this case, Tier 2, I chose card number 40, which is Yutakiyama. And you can see the 3 daily offense, or 3 opportunities to score at the top. Again, the first 2. 1 point per win, 1 point per if he wins with his favorite technique, in this case Oshidashi. And then you can see this what I call a power water boost. And this might be a little complicated, so I'll spend a second here talking about that. And this is, you get 1 point per win if the Rikishi in the previous bout that day won by the same technique that Yutakiyama used. So let me show you how that works. So at the top of Sumo reference, you'll see here it says Torikumi. So if you click on Torikumi, what that does is it brings up all the bouts for the day, and really all days throughout the tournament. So here's Nagoya 2021 day 15. So this was the July tournament. This is the results of every single bout from Makuuchi all the way down to Jonokuchi. All right. So if you look here, you'll see the technique used, and then obviously the winner and the loser, the white circle being the winner, the black circle being the loser. So I'm going to go down here. So let's look at Ura and Chiyoshoma. You can see Ura beat Chiyoshoma by Oshidashi on day 15. You also could see that Aoyama beat Kaisei by Oshidashi as well, right before that match, Ura's match. So if Ura had this power water boost on his card, he would have gotten 1 additional point because Aoyama also won by Oshidashi. Likewise, you can see right below that, Hide Naomi won by Yorikiri against Chiyomaru. And then the bout right before that, Kotonowaka also won by Yorikiri instead against Tsurugisho. So Hide Naomi would have gotten an additional point there. So that's how you check to see power water boost. You can go to the Torikumi, and that'll lay everything out for you. For the daily defense on Tier 2 cards, you can see it's called heavyweight or lightweight, depending on the size of the Rikishi. And that simply is, in this case, if Yutakiyama loses against heavier Rikishi, then Yutakiyama would get 1 additional point. So, and you can see on every card I put the weight, and please use the weight on the cards. That came right from Nihon Sumo Kyokai's website. So those are the official weights. You use those in making a determination if you've earned a daily defense there. Okay, so that's I've covered Tier 1, Tier 2. Now I'm covering Tier 3. In this case, Midori Fuji and Judo. And remember, tier 3 cards, everybody will have one tier 3 card. Those are cards 45 through 67. Those are all randomized. Again, 2 daily offenses should be familiar with you. And then you can see for tier 3, it's called streaking as a daily offense. So you would get 1 point per win. In this case, if Midori Fuji also won the day before. Obviously, on day 1, you wouldn't get any points, but on day 2, if Midori Fuji happened to also win on day 1, Midori Fuji would get 1 additional point on day 2. Likewise, on day 3, if Midori Fuji wins and he happened to win on day 2, you would get 1 additional point on day 3. Well, let me know if you have any questions on that, but hopefully that's pretty self-explanatory. And then this last one's pretty fun. It's called Birthday Bash. And Autumn came up with this one a few tournaments ago, so I decided to go ahead and put it on the cards for tier 3. And that simply is if Midori Fuji happens to lose against a Rikishi that has the same birth month, then Midori Fuji would get 1 point. And again, I added these daily defenses just to give Rikishi that might not be doing so well an additional opportunity to score. How do you find birth month? All right, so let's go ahead and click Midori Fuji right here, Judo 9 in July. So if you click on there, you can see the birth month. In this case, August. Actually, wow, tomorrow's his birthday, believe it or not. But you can see August right there, and so that's how you find out all the birthdays of all the Rikishi. Okay, so that's called Rikishi scoring. That's the daily scoring that everybody knows and loves. And you can see here, day 1 through day 15, that's where you would enter all those scores. Let's go ahead and talk about Rijicho scoring, and you can see here in column R through U, in this case there's 4 different Rijicho daily bonuses. And if you scroll to the bottom of the spreadsheet, whoops, went a little too far, hopefully get back there. In the bottom of the spreadsheet, in the bottom left, you see Rijicho scoring, and you can see the daily bonuses 1 through 4, and then the ways to score. I went ahead for this tournament, I just went ahead and put the 4 in there already. But in future tournaments, I'll likely just randomize the days, maybe even add more, and then just different ways to score. These are just fun little ways to score. So for example, on days 3, 6, 9, and 12, for day 3, all the odd numbered cards, so everybody that's got an odd numbered card, if that Rikishi loses on day number 3, you get an additional point. On day 6, any Rikishi that defeats a lower ranked Rikishi gets a point. Day 9, any Rikishi that defeats a higher ranked Rikishi gets a point. And then day 12, every even number card gets a point. It gets an additional point if they win on day 12. So that's Rijicho scoring, and that's where you would find that. And that applies to everybody and all active cards. So just make sure you're taking a look at that on occasion. Okay, that's called Rijicho scoring. And so now we've got something new and fun, and hopefully it's easy to understand, but certainly reach out if you've got questions. This is called Yokuzuna Scoring. All right, so now that we've got 2 Yokozuna, and it really not being fair that they get to choose their own cards, so they in that instance, they're likely going to have higher scores than everybody else, so they're really playing against each other, not against the rest of the field. But part of it is now an opportunity for all of the rest of the players, so all the Ozeki all the way down to the Judo, to start getting Yokozuna scoring, or earning points in Yokozuna scoring. What does that mean? Okay, so basically you need to choose if you want to be part of Tony's Heya or Volker's Heya. Okay, so if you go back up here to the top, and I apologize, at the very top of the scoring spreadsheet you can see Volker's Heya. He's got Hakuho, Tobizaru, and Oho. And on his bench, he's chosen Takayasu, Tochinoshin, and Kaisho. Okay? So obviously, if any of these main active players get hurt, we'll bring up a bench player to substitute them. And Tony, likewise, he's got Teru no Fuji, Onosho, and Abi. And his bench is Hoshoryu, Aoyama, and Enho. So you've got to look at their Heya, determine who do you want to be part of. So if you scroll back down here to Yokozuna Scoring, you can see I've already entered my name. I think Tony's got the stronger heya, so I've put my name against Tony. So I need everybody else to go ahead here before the tournament starts to lock your name in if you want to be part of Volker's heya or Tony's heya. And what does that mean? You'll get 3 bonus points if Tony's heya gets more points than Volker's heya, meaning basically if Tony beats Volker, gets more points, everybody who's in Tony's heya gets 3 points. Obviously no additional points for everybody who's in Volker's heya. So take a look, decide who you want to be part of. And then this next one, so you get 2 bonus points for each active card of Volker's that you defeat. So for example, if you're part of Tony's heya, and anytime any of your cards, or you have any matches against any of Volker's players or cards, and you happen to defeat them, you'll get 2 bonus points. And hopefully that's self-explanatory. So if you scroll up here, that's where you would enter all these points at. You can see in this instance, Angela, she's got Shodai, Okino Umi, and Hakyozan. This is where she would enter those points at the end of the tournament, as well as throughout the tournament. So if she happened to get part of Tony's heya, and he actually beats Volker, she would get those points here. And then anytime any of her cards or Rikshi defeat any of the other, or any of Volker's Rikshi, only the active ones, not the bench ones, then she would get those 2 additional bonus points here. This is new scoring, so I expect a lot of folks to have, or some folks to have some questions, so certainly reach out to me if you've got any questions. And so those are it. That's it. That's really the 3 ways to score. And again, I need everybody to go ahead and, this Yokozuna Scoring's new, go ahead and enter your name there. Let me know that you've entered it there. I will lock the names at the end of the tournament, or excuse me, at the end of the preparatory period and right before the tournament starts. And then anybody who didn't enter a name, obviously you won't get any Yokozuna Scoring. And then this next one is for Tony and Volker only, right? Since they're going to be playing each other, trying to get the most points. And why is that important? Because the next tournament, whoever got the most points gets to choose the very first Rikshi first. So there's advantages of having the most points and having a stronger heya. So for Volker and Tony, if you look here, if you happen to recruit the most players to your heya, meaning if you've got the most players over here, you'll get 5 additional bonus points. And then if you happen to have the highest percentage of top 50 players at the end of the tournament in your heya, you will get an additional 5 bonus points. And what does that mean? So let's say Tony has got 10 players in his heya, and 5 of them are top 50% players, or end the tournament in the top 50%. Obviously, then Tony would have 50%, right? 50% of his heya is in the top 50%. If Volker has, let's say Volker has 5, and I know the math doesn't add up, but just for example, if Volker has 5 players, but only 1 is a top 50% player, right? You can see that's only a 20% success rate, right? And so then in this instance, Tony would have more higher ranked Rikshi in his heya than Volker, and so then Tony would get an additional 5 points, and then that adds up into all their scoring, and then you would use that at the end of the tournament. Okay, so that's the ways to score. Hopefully that was self-explanatory. Reach out if you got any questions. Absolutely best of luck to everybody. And remember, Sumo Reference is your friend. It's really fun to pop around in, look at everything. Every once in a while it goes down, as Chuck pointed out, right? Sometimes it gets overloaded if you click on too many things too fast. So it crashes. So give it a minute, in about half an hour to reset itself, and then you can pop back in there. Look around the scoring spreadsheet. Let me know if you have any questions. Once you get your cards, especially for the international players, they should be arriving this week. Just let me know, and I'll put your card images on the back here, or card back images on the spreadsheet here, and then your names here. And then go to our Facebook page. Under the announcement section, you'll see our latest tournament, ways to chat, talk. All the information about the tournament will be there. With that, everybody, best of luck. Reach out if you have any questions. Want to send out a quick thank you to the folks that help make this happen. Without them, this tournament and this game really doesn't exist. And that's Paul Fogarty, Paul really manages and helps get the spreadsheet together, make sure that it's up and running. If there's any issues, that people can get those resolved through Paul. And then I want to send a special shout out to Autumn Cordova. She helps at the end of the tournament verifying all of our scoring is accurate, and then she helps us in determining a final winner. So thanks to those two. Best of luck to everybody, and here we go.